So Sibanye-Stillwater, over the last 6 years of its life, has become gradually less dependent on gold production and more dependent on platinum group metals. A large proportion of its profits nowadays coming out of an asset in the United States called Stillwater in the state of Montana. But Sibanye-Stillwater is going through the final stage of the process to acquire Lonmin, which has, in the last decade, had a very fractious history. Where are we with Lonmin and the deal and sealing it and bringing Lonmin formally into the fold of Sibanye-Stillwater?
I think we're about three months away from completing that transaction. As you know, AMCU lodged an appeal post the approval by the Competition Commission. That appeal is set to be heard in April. We're obviously very confident with our position, the legal position, and the fact that it's been approved by the Commission, by the Tribunal. We think that we can look forward to a positive outcome of that. So,
I mean, in real practical terms, is this the last throw of the dice for Lonmin? If you guys are blocked for whatever reason from buying Lonmin, does Lonmin close down and the 10,000 to 12,000 people who still work at Lonmin are gone?
Yeah, and unfortunately it's worse than that. It is the last throw of the dice. Lonmin cannot, even under the current, let's say, better commodity price environment, cannot fund the capital required to be sustainable. Unfortunately, it's not 12,000 people that are affected. In our model, 12,000 people are affected. It's 32,000 people that are affected if we don't step up to the plate.
When you talk about affected, you mean just in terms of the knock-on effect, the environment in which these companies operate and all of the support industries that come into?
No, I'm talking about direct employees in Lonmin. There's 32, of which 12,000 in our model may lose their jobs over a 3-year period.
No, I understand. But when it comes, I mean, consolidation is the name of the game. It's been the name of the game since Bernard Swanepoel built Harmony and bought up all of the little gold mining companies that used to make up the top 40 of the JSE. Consolidation is inevitable. It means that you will cut jobs over time. You will reduce the labor requirements to become more efficient and to become sustainable.
Bruce, absolutely, and that's not well understood by the public at large. We are mining assets that have a definitive ore reserve size, and every ounce you take out is one less ounce that you're going to mine in the future. So you're mining a depleting asset. If you don't invest in new projects, they inevitably come to the end. And in this case, some of those shafts have come to their end. Whether we buy it or whether they try and do it on their own, there are job losses.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about your gold assets in South Africa having potentially a 30-year life, in real terms 15 to maybe 20. In terms of platinum in South Africa?
Platinum's got long life. You know,
as long as it remains a useful commodity in the world of fighting pollution.
Correct. It's an industrial metal more than a precious metal, and as long as it's continued to be used for industrial purposes such as catalytic converters, the resources that we own probably have 40, 50 years of life. The problem is there are resources in other parts of the world that are, again, in a better environment than we find ourselves in South Africa. And if we don't in South Africa, as the platinum industry, step up and make the changes that need to be made, we will see our industry slip away into the hands of other countries.
What are the changes that have to be made?
Well, we certainly need a more competitive environment. We need to stop loading mining companies with peripheral costs, and I'm getting back to the underdelivery of government. We should not be picking up those costs. We need a compact between labor and business. We need an investor-friendly environment that we can invest the capital that is required to develop these resources, because they will be sterilized if we don't do that.
And until you have that nirvana of a mining opportunity in South Africa, where does your focus go?
Well, I think post Lonmin, we'll be one of the biggest PGM companies in the world. I would suggest we probably ex-growth in PGMs post that. Organic growth, certainly under the right conditions, will be considered. I think we need to start looking at what are the next lot of commodities that are going to make sense to our business. Now, we have a large exposure to the vehicle business. Once you start understanding that, you start seeing electric vehicles, you start seeing batteries, you start seeing high-tech minerals. So that could be a very logical extension to our business.
Is that an African expansion strategy? So many of those minerals are available sort of north of South Africa's borders?
Well, a lot of those minerals are available in South Africa as well.
But hardly worth mining under the current conditions.
Absolutely. We need the environment to change. We need an investor-friendly environment. We need a social and economic compact between labour and business, and all of those sort of things can happen. But you really have, once you become an international company like we have, you have the opportunity to look globally at where are the best places.
I mean, would you go as far as warning Gwede Mantashe and the Department of Mineral Resources in South Africa that unless you get a more favourable environment in South Africa, your attention will shift elsewhere? It's simply logical to do so in business.
Yeah, I think I'm on the public record, and I have engaged with our minister, and I'm very positively disposed towards our new minister. His heart's in the right place. I think at the moment he's trying to find this balance between competing areas. The ANC needs to win an election. He has to appeal to his voters. At the same time, him and the president are trying to appeal to business, and I think we're also looking to see what happens after the election. But yes, unless we really make South Africa investor friendly, and I'm not just talking about mining, there's a much broader dialogue relating to business. Unless
broadly, business in South Africa doesn't want to invest in business in South Africa. They'd rather take mad gambles on hamburger joints in the United Kingdom and retail outlets in the United Kingdom and lose their shareholders billions of rand in value than invest in this environment simply because people are scared of it.
We are very concerned about the environment, and that's why companies are sitting on large amounts of cash waiting to see if the environment improves. But your point is absolutely right.
Neil Froneman, thank you very much for chatting to us.